Howdy, folks. I'm Bob Schrupp, physical therapist.
Brad Heineck, physical
Together,
therapist.
we're the most famous physical therapists on the internet.
In our opinion, of course, Bob.
10 big lies, Brad, that we're going to discount today about back pain that's are stopping you from getting better if you believe these lies.
Oh, right. And that psychological aspect can be very powerful. So
Right.
we need to eliminate those and get you on the road to recovery.
Because sometimes you're going right off into the wrong direction
Exactly.
when you believe these things. So, by the way, if you're new to our channel, and I see 4 people there, Brad, today.
Things are moving up in the right
That's
direction.
right. Please take a second to subscribe to us. We provide videos on how to stay healthy, fit, pain-free, and we upload every day. You'll find that subscription button over there somewhere. And please take a second. Brad and I really have a problem with this. Nobody likes us, so please like us on Facebook.
They don't like us anymore, Bob.
Yeah, that's right. So, all right, let's get started,
Yeah.
Brad. The first big lie that I often hear is that people think I lifted something wrong. All right, I mean, that back pain's a lifting problem.
Right.
And quite often it might be a lift that brought it on, the final straw.
Right.
But the fact is it was probably poor posture over a long period of time.
Right. Poor
caused it.
posture, poor body mechanics, accumulated
Yeah.
over years of sitting like this or always bending wrong, those kinds of things.
And Brad touched on it. That's it. More often than not, back pain is a sitting issue rather than a lifting issue.
Yeah.
And especially if you're sitting in what we call a rounded position like this,
Right.
in what we call the C curve. There you go, Brad's like that. And we're going to show you in a second what can happen when you sit in this rounded out position. Day after day, you're putting stress on the ligaments, you're putting stress on the muscles, and you're putting stress on the discs.
Right.
So your back is much stronger when it's in this upright position.
Right.
So over time, this is what's going to result in your problem.
Right, which by the way, a lot of car seats and chairs, soft cushy chairs, promote poor
Yes,
posture.
they
You're
do.
not even aware of it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all against us. The whole world's against us, aren't they, Brad? Number two.
They help our business, though.
Yeah, they do. That's true. They keep us in business. Number 2, a scan will show me what's wrong. Everybody was like, I want to get an X-ray.
Got to get an MRI. Got to get
Yeah.
any kind of scan you can get to the bottom of it.
And there's 2 issues with that Brad and I want to bring up. Number 1 is that only in 2% of the cases do they even find anything.
Sure.
This is from a radiology course I took
Okay.
years ago. The second point is they may find something, which often they will, especially if you're older.
Right.
But it has nothing to do with your pain.
Right. So they call it an anomaly. In other words, a bulging disc or, something that is not perfect in the anatomy
Right.
world. And well, there we go. And it could be the problem, but
It could be the problem.
It may have been there for years without.
Right. And we brought this example up many times, Brad and I, where when you get up to a certain age, like when you get up to 60, 50, 60, 70, 80, there's a good chance on those that you're going to have some type of aging
Right.
change.
Right.
A bulging disc, maybe even a herniated disc, the percentages were quite high for you having a herniated or a bulging disc once you get up in those upper ages.
Right. Bone spurs are showing up all over the place. That can be part of the aging process. Oftentimes, they're not. We did a whole video on that, too,
Yeah.
with some good studies to support that. So that information can be good information from a scan, but oftentimes it can be misleading.
Yeah, people see it and they get focused on it. Because
Yeah.
the thing is, they find this in people that are not having pain. I mean, they'll go in and, Brad and I maybe have bulging discs. We don't have pain right now.
Right.
But it's there. So, yeah, and so people get focused on it. I go, I have a bulging disc. That's why I'm having pain. And it's like, no, it's just regular back pain,
Right.
which can be so many different things.
So now we're really confusing people.
Yeah, I know. All right, next one, Brad, a slip disc. People think their disc slipped out of place,
Right.
and that's not really the case.
Yeah.
We're going to show here example what it really happens.
This is a nice, really a nice model. So this would be a vertebra. Let's say it's L5. And of course, right up from there is L4. And there's a...
So what he's saying is, if we're looking at the back here, he's taking 2 vertebrae here, right out of the back here, and putting them right here.
Let's show them this way. We can go, we'll use this
Okay.
red one. Let's say here we got L5 and L4. This red disc, it represents a bulging, irritated, sore disc right here. So if you could just imagine to pull those out and put here, and instead of having a red disc, we got a green one. So the discs have fluid in them, and there's a nice, very tough outer layer that's called the annulus, keeping that fluid inside it. And the disc allows the back to flex forward and backwards, side to side, and a little bit of rotation. But the problem is if we sit like we were talking about with
We
poor
were talking
posture.
about earlier, when you're in
Yep.
that rounded out posture,
Yep.
over time,
Right.
the back of the disc can weaken.
Right.
Can you get it?
Yep, there we go. And then we get this bulge or herniated disc coming out like that. And that happens to push right into a nerve, which causes pain, can go
Right.
down the leg, and then the sciatic can go up. We need to get that back in there.
So usually to get it back in, you're going to bend the other way, which is going this way.
Right.
And not forward, which kind of leads us to the next one, yeah. So, and again, but the disc does not slip out like this.
Right, it's not like a hockey puck in
yeah.
there, and then you just push it back in and it's okay.
So this leads us right next to the next big lie, because I see this all the time, Brad. People, their back hurts, so what's the first thing they do? They stretch forward. They go, I got to stretch my back, it really hurts.
The thought is, I think the muscles are tight, they need to stretch the muscles out. But oftentimes it's not the muscles. The muscles are responding to a disc issue.
Right, so as you can just see, we were talking about what caused that disc problem is bending forward like this. So do you really want to stretch forward?
Right.
When the problem is stretching forward. So in most cases, rather than stretching like this, I'd say in about 80% of the cases, Brad, unless you have spondylolisthesis, I don't know how to say it, or
Spondylolisthesis or
spinal
stenosis.
stenosis.
Yep.
In most cases, if you have run-of-the-mill back pain, you're going to want to try this. You're going to want to get onto your stomach, maybe even get up onto your elbows, do a prone prop for a little
Right.
bit.
So we're getting that natural. I mean, this is normal for the majority of backs. As we mentioned, there are a few exceptions. If you're 70, 80s, and 90s and over.
It might be tough to get in this
Yeah, I
position.
mean, the aging process tightens things up
Yeah,
naturally.
so then you're going to go into the fact you're going to put your hands below your shoulders. Again, this is all people with back pain. I
Right.
don't care what back pain you have. And you're going to try to start bending up like this. Now, you may only go up halfway to start off with. Go up till you feel the pain.
Right.
And work your way up. You're keeping your pelvis down. You're not lifting your pelvis up like this.
Sure.
And you're going to work your way up further and further. And eventually, you want to get all the way up.
Right.
With keeping your pelvis down.
As a matter of fact, Craig, the guy we had on the plant-based
Yeah.
food, he's doing this exercise. He could only go this far at one time. He's doing just this exercise, and now he can almost touch his toes by going the opposite direction. It's a wonderful,
crazy thing.
Yeah.
But and the thing is, you can do these every hour.
Sure.
That's how often you can do it. You can do like 10 every hour.
And, you have to assume that they feel good.
Right.
Right.
It's making things better. It's not making things worse.
Right. You want to keep pounding on it.
pound away. But I think that's a detail that a lot of people don't know is how often you can do them, because they'll go, well, I did them 10 times yesterday, and it's like, that's nothing. I mean, you got to do 100 in one day.
Right.
So, what was that noise, Lonnie?
Little earthquake in the camera, I suppose.
Little technical
What's
difficulties
next,
there.
Bob?
Okay, number 6. Number 5. Something is really serious with my back. A lot of people think something's really bad, and they go, that's why they think they have to have surgery.
Right.
Quite often, run-of-the-mill back pain can really hurt.
Right.
I mean, I think you need to understand that. We see a lot of people with back pain, and some people are really shocked how bad it can be.
Sure.
So just don't panic. Let's see if therapy is going to take it away.
Right.
Don't be talking about surgery right away.
Right. There's one case we can mention. If you're having problems with bowel movements and you can't control that, you need to get to an emergency room, and that's related to the back. But it's not very often. It's pretty rare, actually.
Yeah, and also what they call saddle anesthesia, where the part where you sit on a saddle,
Right.
if that's numb, that's a bad sign.
Right.
So, number 6, another big lie. They say, well, my mom had back pain or my dad had back pain, so I'm destined to a life of back pain.
Right.
It's like, no. I mean, the thing is, back pain is really, really common. I've seen that it says 80% of the population has back pain bad enough that they miss work for a couple days.
Sure. Over the period of their life.
Lifetime, yeah. And I've seen even that number as high as 90%.
Sure.
Brad. So it's very, very common, and it's sometimes shockingly painful.
Right. If you do research on it, they give you numbers on how costly it is, et cetera, et cetera. But but don't get too excited. Keep watching our channel. We'll help you out.
All right, number 7, Brad, I think right away, I hurt my back, so I have to go on bed rest.
Right.
No. We want you moving as soon as possible. Even if let me show this one, Brad. Even if you're in the bed, the first thing we're going to often try to have you do is just gentle hip rotation. So you're going to bring your legs up like this, and just move your legs back and forth like this. Start getting some movement.
Right.
And if it hurts one direction, just go the other direction.
Right. So you're going to try pain-free range of motion, whether
Right.
it's this or some other, if walking feels good, if you can walk a block, it feels good, then walk a block.
Excellent point, Brad, because I mean, we really try to get people walking as soon as possible.
Sure.
That's just really key. I mean, movement is like a lubricant, so
Right.
you really want to get things going.
It's a matter of finding which movements you can do, and then it'll build up from there.
This one is just for people with sciatica, Brad. A lot of times I see that they'll get the pain down their leg, and they think, well, I'm going to stretch my hamstring.
Sure.
I'm going to stretch that. And in almost the vast majority of the cases, that's going to make it worse.
Especially if you stretch it with bad, like what
Yeah,
you're
right,
doing
when I'm
there.
flexed right here. There's some cases where you've had repeated bouts of sciatica and there's some scarring on the tissue where you might stretch it that way, but in a vast majority of the cases, you are not going to stretch it that way, so
right.
that's not good for you. Number 9 is just more an observation, Brad. Some people think because they're overweight, that's causing their back pain. They really
Sure.
haven't seen a correlation between the two.
Right.
I mean, it might play a role because maybe if you're not as good a shape as you should be.
Right.
But don't use that as a reason why your back pain's not getting better. That's probably not. You can still get better.
Right.
So.
Right. It's how you treat it.
And number 10, Brad, we did a whole video on this. A lot of people think you can't work out when you have back pain. There's a lot of things you can do with back pain.
And the bottom rule, the bottom line on that is do activities that does not irritate your back.
Right.
Not only while you're doing it, but then afterwards for the next couple hours, does it get flared up as a result? I can do that with mine. Sometimes I can go running, my back feels fine, but then I realize an hour later, it's like, oh, well, maybe I ran a little too far.
You did fire it up.
Right.
Yeah.
So you have to go while you're doing that
Afterwards.
for the next few hours. Is it still doing well? Then that activity continue to do.
Right. A good example to me, Brad, would be bench press.
Sure.
While you're doing
Oh.
bench press, you're laying down on your back is supported, and you're pushing up like this. In most cases, you're going to be able to do so pain-free.
Right. You don't want to do a one rep max and
No.
max out, but-
Right. You want to keep on lower reps, and the same thing if you're one of those. What's the incline bench?
the incline bench.
Yeah, so if you're doing curls on that, your back
Sure,
is supported.
right.
So there's lots of things you can do. I think pull-ups are probably a great one because you're almost putting traction on your back while
Right.
you're.
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
pull downs.
You just listen to your body. Some swimming activities can be really good.
Yep, very
All
good.
right,
All right,
so-
remember Brad and I are not just pretty.
We're pretty handy.
You got it right.
Right. But I really
Usually
think
we are pretty ugly though too. So,
it's a horse apiece.
all right, thanks for watching.